All right, man. You are now tuned into the Fresh P podcast, man. This is episode 1. I'm here with someone that, man, let me tell you a little something, man. This brother, he took the time to invest in himself, and he seeked me out. He was like, "Hey, man, do you shoot podcasts?" And I'm like, "Nah, but man, we could do something." So nonetheless, man, I got my brother right here, Jahsan Wright, man. How you doing today, brother?
And I'm doing great, bro. I'm blessed, bro. Appreciate you having me on, man. And hey, to y'all, this brother's one of a kind, man. It was a blessing, and it still is a blessing to know someone like him and to even have somebody like him on my team at the time that I was shooting a podcast. And for somebody to take initiative and to invest into himself, bless him, bro. And those are the type of people you should want to keep around you. Because not only will it propel him further in life, but it also help propel you further in life. So kudos to you, bro. I appreciate you, man.
Hey, vice versa. I appreciate those kind words, man. Seriously. So without further ado, man, we starting a new year out. It's
Yes,
January 11th, 2025, man. I got young Jahsan Wright, man.
Yes,
What's
sir.
in motion right now, man?
Right now, man, I'm just growing closer to God, man. Just focusing on being intentional in my walk with God, trying to be a man of God, striving every day to be like Christ and what that means to me and what that biblically is. That's right now what I'm focused on and what I'm intentionally doing right now in this year.
Got you. Got you. Man, so dude, I have been seeing your posts like you've been doing like I guess so can you talk to me about that? Just like I guess you would read a scripture
Yeah. So right now, it's two things that or three things on my content on YouTube is focused on. First is posting workout videos, and what I'll do is I'll read a scripture or over the video, like I'll do a voiceover over the video, and I'll pray, either or scripture or prayer. In my last video that I'm about to post later this month, I did both a scripture and a prayer. Then my second form of content is I'll actually read the Bible, and then I'll highlight it and basically go verbatim of what the Bible is saying and break it down in basic terms so that a new reader or somebody who's newly um coming to Christ can understand, or somebody who just wants to know what it means to be a Christian can understand it. So because it's so many different variations of the Bible, and for that, if I'm somebody who isn't established or doesn't know what a King James version understands or means, it might just be a whole new language to me. So for me, I want to be that gap or that bridge to somebody who's read a multitude of different biblical standards and be that person that who, okay, I can break this down and help you get a better understanding, as well as help you find out what it means to be Christ like. And then in my last one, I'm reading a book called Maximize Manhood, and that's just basically doing or helping grasp an understanding of what it means to be a maximized man, a maximized Christian man, a man of God. And it's I forgot how many chapters it is. But right now I'm on like chapter 9, so I think I gotta record like chapter 10, and then we're just going from there. So those are basically the reels that I will post on my Instagram, my Facebook, and in my YouTube shorts, and then I have longer form videos on my YouTube.
Man, that's beautiful, man. So with that said, man, because I know, man, your whole family. I met your whole family.
Yeah,
Beautiful family, by the
appreciate you,
way,
bro.
dude. Yeah, and you guys, man, bro, hold on, I gotta ask this too,
Talk to me.
because the wedding, bro. I need to know who was that singer, bro.
Singing. That was Jessica. She's actually Tyrus. You remember Tyrus, right? Tyrus Duncan. That's his is it? I think younger sister. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's his younger sister. She went to school with Nike. My sister, Nikasia, she went to school with her. I believe they were in the same grade, and then Tyrus was older, since I think Tyrus is older than Nike, so he was like a couple grades ahead.
Mm-hmm.
But that was his sister who was singing, and yes, bro, they
Really?
all Tyrus' sister can sing. Well, he has two sisters. His other sister can sing well, great too. And then Tyrus knows what he's doing when it comes to that keyboard, when singing, producing. Yeah, man, they family. You can talk about a family. They got a nice family and all different skills, assets, talents, and wonderful as well on that side of the family. So shout out to them.
Shout out Tyrus, man. Hey, that brother, man, his vibration is on a whole
Yeah,
nother
different,
level, man.
different.
Yeah, and that's funny and that's crazy how I just curiously asked about, her,
Hmm.
and then that just happens to be his sister. Because I was gonna be like, man, I ain't gonna lie, I need him on the podcast, like dang near the
Yeah, no, you
next
gotta.
one.
He actually started his own podcast too. It's called the Journey Up Podcast. So make sure y'all tap into that. So yeah, y'all definitely gotta
Hey,
rap and do what y'all do on the content side. So yeah,
okay,
that's my
yeah.
dog,
Shout
man.
out the Journey Up podcast,
Yes, sir.
right?
I believe that's what it's called. If I'm wrong, I apologize, Tyrus, but I think it's called the Journey Up
Bet,
Podcast.
bet, man. Man, so without further ado, man, I want to get into Jahsan Wright, man. I know you're an entrepreneur. You got the clothing brand. You got the Right Impact Group. You got
Right.
Indie Fleet, man. Man, it's a lot of things going on with you,
Yes,
brother.
sir.
But we gonna slow down. We not gonna get into all that
Yes,
right
sir.
now. I want to know who Jahsan Wright is. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Just outside of the entrepreneurship. I know you play ball too, but
Yeah.
like just somebody that never met you and you. I'm just seeing this guy for the first time. Who am I? Who am I meeting?
You gonna come across a man after God's own heart, man. And I don't say that lightly. I don't say that as trying to be bold or trying to taunt, but truly, that's what I truly mean. Every day is a battle. Not only a battle against the world, against what it is that the world deems okay, not only against the things that you might not see or you might most people might not be okay with, but that's also against myself as well. Um, in the Bible, it talks about living of the world or living in sin, living in flesh. And truly, bro, it's harder said than done to go against what it is to live in the world or what it is to live in flesh. So for me, man, I'm a man after God's own heart. I don't judge. I don't say that lightly, but I say that with love, with honor, and with the utmost respect for anybody who is in the same path or even wants to know what it means to be after God's own heart.
Dude, I really love that, man. I think that's why we so like I don't know, man. I just knew the moment I met you, bro, you was different. Cause hey, I don't know how you remember me, but I'll tell you this, man. That's how I met this brother, man. I attended this sneaker event. I forgot
Yeah.
the name of it. I
Yeah.
see, I see this young man and his father, bro. They're just at the sneaker. They got the booth, Da Fam Apparel. I mean, this dude, he over there. Hey man, he got the whole line for you, bro. Like he speaking with confidence,
Yeah.
conviction, man. Dude, I was heavily impressed, and I didn't know he was as young as he was.
Yeah.
That's what really like. I'm thinking you really like moving like my age, graduated out of college. So like, man, don't let him fool you, bro. Like, hey, dude is young, but he's sharp, man. I think bro, you just sharp, bro.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Appreciate
I think the one thing that I really am impressed by you, bro, is like your heart, dog.
you, man. Yeah.
Like, you got heart, bro. Cause respectfully, you not at 20 no more, right? Are you still
I'm
20?
21. Yeah,
21 now.
21. Yeah.
Yeah, cause I shot your 20th birthday pictures.
Yeah.
Hey, them boys is still on IG. His
Yes, sir.
profile pic, I
Can't let
shot
them
them
go.
boys.
Can't let them go,
Hey,
bro.
dude.
No matter what hairstyle I got, what clothes I got on, can't let them go, man.
Yeah.
Them boys fire.
Come on now. Hey, I love it, man. It's still your profile
Yeah.
pic. I looked at it because I was like trying to look into it. I was like, man, this must still my picture.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, with that said, man, I love that you're a God fearing man. That's beautiful, bro.
Appreciate it,
Cause,
bro.
cause me and being Muslim, dude, that's the first thing I try to tell people
Yeah.
about me. Like,
Mhm.
not even like I'm African too,
Right.
but like I'm gonna tell you I'm Muslim first
Yeah.
because I just feel like God did everything, He created all this stuff,
Yeah.
and that's what you need to know first.
People don't realize that, bro.
You know?
You got to be in tune with him, bro. You got to. Because if you ain't in tune with him, you ultimately aren't in tune with yourself.
Oh,
And that's just what it is, bro. So I know I agree. And then just back to the heart comment, bro. Like I think for me, bro, I've been through too much and I've learned too much to not have a pure heart. I never like my intentions are always pure. Even when, sometimes your intentions can be pure, but you can still rub people the wrong way. Even in those
mm.
moments, bro, it still is from the purest heart. And if somebody tells me, hey, you wrong, I might not see it at that moment, but I can also always reflect. Um, and always be willing to apologize, be willing to continue a conversation. I'm never trying to judge. I'm never trying to force someone to understand, force an opinion or nothing on people, bro. It's always just, I'm gonna bring the real me and you bring the real you, and let's either break bread or let's just have a genuine conversation. And that's how I believe you build, and that's how I believe you grow from wherever area you are in life. Is just being real and being yourself.
And I think what you just said right there is why I think we still are
Yeah.
able to like, our relationship is still as
Yeah.
good as once we first met each other.
Right.
Because I told you, man, I'm like, hey man, we gonna work, you know what I'm saying? Make
Yeah.
it make sense at the
Right.
end of the day. Like, I ain't gonna hit you with the little corporate talk, like,
Nah.
you know what I mean? I ain't got time for that. That's why I don't work. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So man, that's beautiful, man. So Jahsan Wright, man, a man of God. I wanna ask you, how was entrepreneurship introduced to you, bro?
It was introduced to me, man. I can't remember like exactly how, but I know it was introduced to me at a young age, bro. just seeing everything my parents had to go through. And having to rent homes, and mind you, my parents did an awesome job with raising me, raising my older sister, raising my younger brother. But obviously we ain't the richest, we ain't the wealthiest. So um just seeing all of that, we never struggled, we never had to ask for nothing. So I can't say that we struggled, but I also can't say that we are sitting here with assets, ownership, and entrepreneurship in a sort. So seeing them having to work and basically, bust their tails to be able to provide for us. That's one way it was introduced. And my father always, hey, at the end of the day, as a man, you're gonna have to have your own. No matter what it is, your own car, your own house, your own investments, your own insurance deals, or your own trust funds, your own wills, you always going to have your own. So for that, it was always a thought, okay, the quickest or the easiest way to have my own and to be able to do it, what it is I want to do, is through entrepreneurship. And that's not me saying it's going to be easy, because honestly, entrepreneurship is harder than working a 9 to 5. And I don't say that lightly. And I don't say that trying to disrespect anybody who's working a 9 to 5, saying that they taking the easy way out, because I work a 9 to 5 now. And I can trust and like believe me, it's not easy at all. I'm a plumber full time, bro, and it's been some calls where I didn't woke up and clocked in at 7 a.m. and didn't get back home till 7 p.m. Didn't get back home till 7:30 p.m. But that's entrepreneurship as well. It's some days where entrepreneurship on the weekends where this is the most free time I got, but at the same time I'm still working and still having to clock in for myself emotionally, physically, and mentally from 7 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Dude, it don't get no better than that, but it also ain't easy. So for entrepreneurship, it was introduced to me at a young age, through wanting to spend time how I wanted to spend it, from my father, and then also I had an older cousin who had his own clothing line, and that was another way it was introduced to me. So just being around things like that, and also being around introduced to freedom of my own time, financial freedom. That's how entrepreneurship was introduced to me.
That's okay. I like that. And you kind of like almost led me to the next thing I wanted to talk to, which is mindset. You just told me
Yeah.
about how you waking up at 7 a.m. and you coming back at 7 p.m. And you telling me, well, entrepreneurship is a lot harder. So tell me, why do you want to get into entrepreneurship if it's harder?
I don't know if people know who David Goggins is. You know who David Goggins is,
Oh
right?
man,
Right.
what's his thing, man? He said, "Go hard." Or
Right.
what,
It's,
what he
it's
be
so
on?
much. You don't know me, son. Who gonna carry the boat? He has so many different sayings, and but emotionally, when I hear David Goggins, bro, is do the hard things. That's how you get further in life. Doing the hard things when it comes to eating, doing the hard things when it comes to living the right way, doing the hard things when it comes to entrepreneurship. And once again, 9 to 5s are hard as well. So working a 9 to 5 where you gotta wake up at 7 and don't get back till 7 p.m. Those are hard things as well. So in life, you ultimately have to choose what are the hard things for you, first and foremost. So me being Jahsan Wright, I can sit here and say, oh, being an entrepreneur is harder than 9 to 5, but that's my own personal experience. Somebody who's working 9 to 5 can say being a 9 to 5 worker is harder than being an entrepreneur. That's their experience. So I can't tell them what their experience is and what my experience is. But first off, when I say that, I don't mean that to shun nobody who's working 9 to 5. All I'm saying is, from my own experience, it is harder, but I'm okay with it being harder because in life, I choose to do the hard thing. I know I will get farther in life from doing the hard thing. I've seen great outcomes from people who done the hard things in life. So why wouldn't I want to do the same thing? You look at you take the Bible, you take some of the most characters from the Bible, Noah, Abraham, Peter, Paul, they all chose the hardest route in either submitting to God's will or submitting to Jesus' will. And when they did that, they at the end of the day were either crucified or had to put down the things that they say they wanted. So in life, for me, I have to put down the things that the world may say, Jason, you want this, Jason, you want the luxury cars, Jason, you want all the women. But yeah, that's easy. Yeah, that's fun. But ultimately, what are those things going to do for me when it's all said and done and I gotta put everything down and be like, all right, what did Jason create? What did Jason leave behind? Jason ain't had no kids because he wanted to be with every woman in the world. And Jason ain't have no real assets because he wanted every new car. All these things that Jason could have had because he wanted to follow the way of the world. But when it really came down to it, leaving a legacy is a lot harder than people think. You have the assets to trust. You got to worry about the government on your back. You got to worry about making sure every dollar go back to the government, or they got to trace to every dollar that you ever pick up. So then when you get those assets, those 10 houses, all right, so what are you doing with them? Because the government can have empty buildings sitting on plots of land, but Jahsan, you can't because it still costs. So once again, all these legacies, all these things that come behind leaving a legacy or being somebody who wants to do the hard things, it's a lot that come with it. But at the end of the day in life, if you want to get farther, you have to do the hard things because ultimately it trains your mind to keep going and not give up.
So legacy
Mhm.
is what you're working towards.
Yes.
Okay.
And not for my own sake, not for my own glory, but to make sure that even though I'm doing the hard things, that the ones behind me can ultimately say, well, Grandpa Jahsan, Uncle Jahsan, Brother Jahsan made it easier for me to get here. But at the end of the day, I still know what it's like for it to be hard because he showed us what the hard work is. I have those before me who show me what hard work is. My own father, my mother, my grandfather, my nana, they showed me what it means to be hard working. My granddad's 70 plus and still driving RVs across the country. But he like it. And it may sound easy to some people, but he like it. But ultimately having to, I don't know the full route, but I know I don't like driving. So that's something that's hard to me. I drive a truck all day because once again, I'm a plumber. But he likes it, but it's still hard for him. But before he was driving RVs, he was doing construction. He built his own house, a 6-bedroom house in South Bend, Indiana. A 6-bedroom house with his nephews, his grandsons. I was one of them. Now I was younger, so I didn't really get to vividly live through that whole experience. But I was still there, and I seen this man working hard, man.
Your granddad?
Yes, my granddad.
Bro, is it the one I met at the wedding?
Yep, 6'5", dude. He ain't no little dude either, bro. So you gotta imagine a 6'5" dude being a brick slayer. That's what his actual career was a brick slayer. But he know everything in the ins and out of construction. So you see construction dudes, usually they bound your 5'6" to 6'1", 6'2". But dude, we talking about a dude who's 6'5", having to get up, get back down, move through all small spaces. That stuff is wear and tear on your body physically. But one thing I can say is that man never stopped moving. And through his generation, you'll never, like that generation, they just don't know how to sit down.
Shout out the baby boomers.
Shout them out because I don't know where we would be without them. But ultimately, a lot of people from our generation, not to get off topic, but a lot of people are from our generation need to take notes and really look at me like, yeah, that's hard work because they cannot sit down and really sit down and rest. It's a different mentality that they took on. So for me, it's if I have those before me who took on a different mental and mentality to create a legacy for me, regardless if I can take anything tangible from it, I still learn from it. That's the one thing every day I strive to be an everyday learner. So if I can learn from it, that's all I need. And ultimately, that is what I've done from my mother, my father, my nana, my grandfather, is just learn from them.
Man. And then it's like, so you got this powerful support system just surrounded you, but it's not even, you got a support system, but then you got people that you can look to.
Yeah.
And just like, okay, they worked hard, so ain't no, I got it. It's in your blood, bro.
It's my blood.
You know what I mean?
It's in my blood.
So what you gonna do with that?
Yeah, I just gotta work.
Yeah.
And I mean, whatever that looks like to me, I just gotta make it happen. And at the end of the day, for me, it's more than just a learning. Like I said, even though right now, physically, a lot of stuff they haven't left behind, because obviously it's still here, but mentally, I can say that I've learned a lot from it. So whatever work looks like to me, I can take little bits and pieces, and when I implement it, boom, this is, well, I remember my dad did this, and now I gotta go, let me go right because he went left with it. I remember my mom did this, let me go right because she went left. My nana left, I went right. So all my granddad left, I went right. So all those things that they've done that I can learn from, now I just got to implement it in the work that I do and say, all right, let me go right. And when it comes to me having kids, nieces, nephews, Levi, my sister, hey, I went left on this, so now y'all go right. And trust me, I got you. And that's ultimately what, work is to me. And that's what I took away from it.
Man, that's beautiful, man. I love the fact that, man, I'm not gonna lie to you. When I first met you and I seen your pops working together, it really reminded me of me and my pops. My dad was a truck driver,
I
dude.
remember
Like, he owned his own company as well. That's really why I'm starting my own company. I started my own company. It's because my father, he's an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. He came from Africa, was doing taxi. long story short, when I met you and I saw you and your father at it just reminded me so much
Yeah,
of me and my father. Just man, we was in that truck, man, going to Texas, back to
yeah.
Indy, carrying hauls. And I'm like, dude, and it's just like I see you and your father's relationship. I'm like, dang, bro, like it's not by accident I met these
Nah,
people.
not by accident at all.
God, I know God put
Yeah,
me, y'all, he put y'all in my life for a reason, man.
yeah.
And dude, I just want to thank you for man being courageous enough to chase your vision
Appreciate you, bro.
because your father he said your obedience is
Your obedience is tied to someone else's destiny.
your obedience is tied to someone else's destiny, and that's literally what I'm saying. Because for you to hey man, do you shoot a podcast, bro? I'll say nah, but we can do something
Right.
type deal. So we pull up to Zahi. Next thing you know, I meet the owners of Zahi Studios. So I meet them, and dude, they propelled me to a level where it's like night and day difference. Like, so that's how I'm able. I mean, I think you saw my setup when I first started.
Yeah,
I think I started to gradually grow, grow,
yeah,
grow. Man, it was because you chose your obedience is tied. You know what I mean? You
yeah.
stay. Oh, you should, bro. You know what I mean? I tried to get all my homies start a podcast. This little young gun over here, man, I'm shooting. Episode 1, he got his uncle pulling up to the podcast
Yeah,
shoot. I mean, bro, it's crazy, bro. So I just want to thank you for like staying obedient.
so
You know what I mean? Because that literally, bro, I see the impact that you made on my life. You know what I mean?
likewise.
In a short amount of time.
Yeah. Man,
So I've only known you within like 2 years, bro.
yeah,
So it's crazy, man. I really cannot wait to see what like life has for us because I think, bro,
likewise.
at the end of the day, man, your network is your what?
Your net worth.
Come on, man, in
Come
that
on.
order, man. So we got into the family, man. I kind of got to, if y'all didn't know, man, this guy's a God fearing man, but we gonna start to get in business, man, because this is a
Sir.
businessman. So, like with that said, man, let's start with Die Fam Apparel, man,
Hmm.
because you guys then had me shoot some of your clothing brand
Yeah.
shoots. Can you talk to me about how did that start? Die Fam Apparel, and
Hmm.
yeah, just tell me how that
Yeah.
started.
Shout out to my pops, man. I believe this was 2017 or 2018. I feel like I've told this story multiple times, but I remember, bro, um I was in a transition period in my life through a lot. We ended up moving out of a crib, a real nice house, and when we didn't own it. So, if you don't really own stuff, people can basically tell you what you can and can't do, or you gotta rely on them to have integrity. If something happened to the landlord, I don't really know too much of the legal stuff, but something happened to the landlord. So then we end up having to move out that house to a two bedroom apartment. And at this time, it's 5 people in my family: my mother, my father, my brother, and my sister and me. My sister ends up going to high school in Muncie, like an early high school program for real smart students. Basically like a college, I forgot the word, but a college ready program. So she went there. So now it's only 4 of us staying in the apartment full time, basically. So mind you, I said it was 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and we ended up moving to that apartment. From there, I ended up having to transfer schools the next year, and so I went from a predominantly white public school to a predominantly white private school. So you might think that's not a major difference, but a public school, you not gonna get, or you are going to get kids from like a multitude of different backgrounds. Like I'm talking about, it was dudes from who stayed in Gary, dudes who went to Pike, dudes who was from out east, moving to the public school. It was Avon High School. So we was in the suburb. So from there, it's like you got all these different backgrounds all in one school, and it was more black students than I can count, mind you. Still predominantly white, but it was a lot more black students than I can count. So then I transitioned to this predominantly white school, private school.
Private.
Yeah. 400 kids max. Like they only allow 400 kids max. Um, and at this point now, I can count how many black kids is in the school. So I'm coming with the mindset like, all right, I'm already like, they already got a label on me. Now, obviously, I ain't no thug because I ain't never been through nothing like that. Really, I ain't never sold dope. I ain't never picked up a gun. Like all these things, I ain't never really had to experience. But I also have the same like mental capacity of Then that he just another regular black dude. And at any moment, I say the wrong thing, his anger could go from 0 to 100. And mind you, it could, because at that time I was still dealing with, anger issues, still, hanging around the wrong dudes, the wrong crowd. So this is where I was at in the transition period. Um, and did I get off to a rough patch? Kind of, yeah. I'll be honest, yeah, I got off to a rough patch. So to get back to the story, my dad ends up making a video for me and saying, "Hey, he makes this video post on Instagram. Hey, this a video I'm about to drop. This thing called Desires Everything." And right at this time, it was just more of a leadership development thing that he wants to start, and not even a clothing brand yet.
Mm.
And so he called it Desires Everything. He was sketching some things, sketching like a cross with Desires Everything in it. And he made this video, and it was a tribute to me because, like he said, he saw I was going down the same path that he went. And ultimately, that's the last thing he wanted me to do because, once again, he was in a private high school as well when he was growing up, but he was still with his boys back who stayed around the corner. Still,
Mm.
but this is South Bend, Indiana. Now we're in Indianapolis, Indiana, so it's a different multitude. It's
Mm.
possible since South Bend a lot smaller, it's more of a community aspect to it because if they know the right boys, they know, oh, well, yeah, that's Sam Wright and them from, down the way. So boom, he get into some, next thing you know, they can call his pops. His pops get a handle, boom. No need to worry about it no more. Because he didn't, got my dad straight or got whatever his brothers, his cousins together. Now it's on a whole different multitude because now we in Indy. Indy, you run into anybody. I'm staying out west. I run into some boys out east messing around with the wrong crowd. Next thing you know, my face on the news. Or I'm, go hit a lick on somebody and get into the wrong stuff. Next thing you know, don't nobody hear from me no more. I'm in the pen. So he started it to, speak to me in a different language, way that I can more understand him because at that time I wasn't understanding nothing he was talking about. I was thinking he was tripping. And that's just me being honest. But now, hindsight looking back, I could say he was completely right for it. But he did it from a different aspect. So he started Desires Everything. And I took initial, I was watching. And then like a couple months later, he ends up like having one of his boys make some shirts. And once again, I'm supporting him because he's taking it from a different angle. And it's bigger than me now. It's involving my siblings, it's involving, a more of a broader community. And so at this point, it's like, you know what? Why would I not support my own father? And so then after that, I think that was 2018, 2017, 2018, my sophomore year of high school. Then I ended up getting, so he kept making stuff, making clothing. Then it hits around my senior year of high school. We end up winning state championship in football. Shout out to them boys. And then after that, it was kind of, I was in like a fuzzy area, like I didn't know what I wanted to do in life. Yep. So won the state championship, and after that, I was kind of in a fuzzy area, like I didn't know what I wanted to do in life, man. And I found a love for football. Obviously winning state and just bonding with my brothers, who was on the same team. But I don't know if it was really to the aspect that I thought it was. So I was trying to reach out to college coaches, D3, D2, NAIA. I knew I wasn't going to go to D1 because I ain't had a size, but I knew I had potential. One thing I never do is right now, like I never like quit nothing. So for me, it was okay if I, get a D2 team or offer on the team. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna solidify. If I get the spot, I get the spot. But I know I'm gonna put in the work to get the spot. So that's how my mindset was going into it. Long story short, I didn't get no D2 offers. I didn't get no NAIA. And I found out that D3, you basically got to pay to play. So there's no scholarships. The only scholarships is academic scholarships. I I had a 3.5, so I mean I wasn't dumb, but also wasn't feeling like I didn't like school enough to go pay to continue going. So I was like, you know what, I'm cool. And I honestly think at that time, and it's a story I never really tell anybody, or I only told like a couple people, but
I'm honored.
shout out to you, bro. But I wanted to go to DePaul University. It's a school in Greencastle. Team is nice. Like they've won, I want to say, ever since I graduated, I think they've won the conference championship every year since then. So I graduated in 21. Y'all do the math, and go from there. But I wanted to go there. My best friend went there. He applied, got accepted. The coach gave me they used to call it like a roster spot. So like you would guarantee get a roster spot. Once again, it was no academic or no scholarships. So I applied. I was in the middle of applying, but then I got to the college essay. and they, asked a multitude of different questions. So I was like, all right, bet I'm gonna come back to this later. I never got back to it. But then I went to a college visit, love the campus, met the coach. Coach was real down to earth, real relatable. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna come here. Like this is where I'm gonna come. So then I go back home, and at the beginning of that school year, my senior year, we made like college essays, but it wasn't like I didn't know every school was different. So we just made like basically college essays, but we turned it for a grade. So I took that same college essay, hurried up and submitted it to DePaul University. But mind you, it was a multitude of different questions that I needed to answer. And so that college essay that I made for class didn't match up to the DePaul University one. So I'm looking back, and mind you, this is all like it took like a minute for me to realize what really happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go back, like, so I ended up getting the answer to the application if I was admitted to the school or not, and I ended up getting denied. I wasn't sure why I got denied. I'm like, bro, what happened? Like, yo, what is like my grades ain't bad, Once again, I didn't have a 3.5, I had a 3.1, 3.1. So, average. So I'm like, what happened? Like, what went wrong? I submitted the essay, and then I really sat back and like, bro, and I think they might have gave me an answer like your essay didn't match any of our answers or anything that we said.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. And my parents was sick. And they was like, well, I mean, eventually it was like, well, I mean, it's either school or trade school. Trade school, school or the military. And I wasn't voting for no military. So
Mm-mm.
I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just pick up trade school. But like I was saying, I think that was God really, um, allowing me not to fall into that, that college world. Because I just hindsight, I don't think it was for me. Like, football sound good, but once again, we talking about a 18-year-old kid or 17-year-old kid. I would have turned 18 that summer. Having to wake up every day, basically on his own, no parent coming in there trying to wake up on an alarm. No real didn't have any real discipline at that time. I really wasn't consistent in nothing for a long period of time at that time. So all these things basically outweighed me really needing to go to college and be successful. So I ultimately, like I said, I believe it was God really, redirecting me in a different path, and here I am now. But um, so that was really where I was at with that. And then after that, life really got serious. And so I ended up picking up a trade, picking up plumbing. And from plumbing, picking up that plumbing trade, which I'm still currently doing, I was like, you know what? It got to be something bigger than this. It got to be something better. And I've always had like a passion for fashion, or let me not say a passion. I've always had like a creative sense for fashion. And so you're like, all right, well, my pop's talking about starting a clothing brand. You know what? Let me just go ahead, join my pops, and take Die Fam from there. And then that's how we got Die Fam. Just me wanting a different avenue and a different source of income and a different way to inspire the world.
So desires everything started with I want to say a mission or vision.
A message more, a
A
message,
message.
a vision. Yeah.
Okay. But really just because it was about his son.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean
Desire is
it was about impacting me, and trying to get me to understand and see life from a different route. And like I said, at that time, I didn't really see it at that route, but hindsight looking now, I definitely see it from that route, and I can't do nothing but thank my father for doing that and basically taking that initiative and that sacrifice.
you hear that, Mr. Wright? It worked. It
It did.
worked, brother. You did it. Hey,
Yeah.
man. Hey, that's beautiful, man. So yeah, man. I got me some desires, everything drip, man.
Yes,
So I
sir.
love my favorite shirt is the desire, big desire.
Oh yeah, that one
Yeah,
nice.
that's my favorite one. That's the one. I ain't gonna lie. When I put it on, you know what I'm saying?
Boy,
Make
you
the
look so.
yeah, it like you
Yeah, it
look.
do got a nice fit, a dry fit on it, so I like it too.
Hey man, go cop y'all drip,
Yes,
man.
sir.
TheHyphenApparel.com.
DiFM app, but right now the site is down. We like really took a step back, like from the podcast, from clothing brand, just to, for one, build capital.
Yeah.
Build capital for sure, and then just to from there, once the capital is built up, we gonna come back with more of a plan, more of a vision, and more of a better way to execute on a lot of things. That, at first, it was more just learning and getting the experience, getting our feet wet, building the network, meeting a lot of people, and now I'm ready for it to come back. But I'm also, mentally, I know it's a full mental challenge. So first and foremost, build that capital, and then just set aside a plan, a vision, and a goal of what it is that you're trying to accomplish when you do have your clothing brands, your podcast, your content, all types of different things that you want to create an income out of.
Oh, hey man, when they firing all cinders, man, y'all better hit that website, man. I'm
Boy,
telling y'all. Anyway, yeah. So Dot Film Apparel, we done dived into that, man. You recently not even recently, man. Matter of fact, I'll ask you, Indie Flea.
hmm
Can you talk about
yeah.
that?
So Indie Flea, shout out to my boy Brendan, my boy Dimitri. Those are my two dogs who I partner with Indie
Shout out
Flea
Brendan,
on.
man.
Partner with Indie Flea on. And for Indie Flea, the main goal right now is just to build the fashion community within Indianapolis. I don't know if a lot of people realize, but there's kind of in Indianapolis right now, we're in a growing stage. And in some areas, you see a lack of community, a lack of sense of community. And I'm not saying fashion is one of those, but when you look at your Atlanta streetwears, your yo, it's so many different outlets for fashion. Your New York Fashion Week, your Parent Fashion Week, or Paris Fashion Weeks. You have a sense of community because there's these major events or these major things happening for them to all come together. But with Indie Flea, that is the ultimate goal. When people hear Indie Flea, they know, well, Indie Flea done set a major week of this happening. Or Indie Flea done had this major event that a lot of the people in the fashion community didn't really step towards and came out to support. And I went to an Indie Flea event that I didn't even know like this stuff went on in my city, and I connected with some young cats who was on the same stuff that I was. You know, those are the things that we want to hear, not to fuel our egos and to glorify us, but to glorify the creative sense and the things that Indianapolis actually has going on. And then from Indianapolis, we want to take it further and go Indiana, and then from Indiana to the Midwest, and to Midwest to USA, and then so forth and so on. But that's essentially like the main goal right now, man, is just to build that fashion sense and fashion community within Indianapolis.
Man, okay, so you can talk to me, man, because I think you hitting on something, man. Community, community, community.
Yeah.
Man, I think that's how the great ones,
Yeah, for sure.
build. If you got people, there's no other way,
Yeah.
honestly. Like, cause yeah, I've seen it, man. I've been kind of going around. I go to Atlanta, man. I'm seeing it. Everybody kind of know each other,
Yeah.
especially when you're trying to do big things.
Yeah, you
So
got to.
without community, it's probably, what I mean, whatever vision you had, bro, you kind of just need a community,
Yeah.
man. So I love that. So Indie Flea, long story short, it's about the fashion community
Yeah.
in Indianapolis area right now,
For
currently.
right now, yeah. And I mean, we like this year, this not to really give y'all a whole bunch of into our business, but we plan on definitely going to like Bloomington, South Bend, and partner with, your local stores or your local brands out there to once again build that community sense. Because if we are lacking in one area and there's somebody to, uplift us or help us, that's building that community. So that's our goal. We want to go farther than just Indianapolis, and there's definitely different routes we can take with that. But
Okay, that's beautiful. And then there's three of you guys
yeah,
running
so
that.
Jahsan Wright, Brendan Foster, and then Dimitri. Dang, I don't remember Dimitri Harris or Harrison, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but shout out to Dimitri Sales. That's his brand as well. So, yeah,
Oh man, you guys keep going, man. Do your
appreciate you,
thing,
bro.
bro. Because that community thing, I think that's if you build that, man, it's forever.
Yeah,
It's here to stay, man. So, man, you guys keep doing y'all thing.
appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, I don't really. I need to come pop out, man. I got my Kobe jersey. It's all the fashion I know, man. I
Hey
just,
man, it's okay, bro.
yeah,
We all start in different areas, but we all got our fashion sense, and we all express ourselves in different ways when it comes
yeah.
to fashion. And I'm not in the area to be like, hey, bro, you'll fit hard or you'll fit weak no more. I mean, that was cool, when it like was major, but it's like, bro, at this point, everybody different.
Yeah.
Like some people might care about what they put on and some people might not.
Mhm.
Some people might express like, wearing a Kobe jersey, that can mean different to you what it would mean to me. But it probably don't, because Kobe was my favorite player as well. So
Well, I see the books
exactly,
right there.
that's my dog,
Hey, we in
R.I.P.
the
the
right
great one,
area.
bro.
Come
the
on,
Black
rest
Mama.
in
But
peace, man.
but once again, you could say wearing a Gordon Hayward jersey to somebody from Brownsburg High School is different to me coming out of Covenant Christian High School. So fashion has these multitude of different expressions and different ways for people to express themselves. So for me, it would be once again in a terrible judgment space to really be like, yeah, you'll fit trash, when I don't even know why it is that you truly put that outfit on, or what that outfit or how that outfit makes you feel. So But yeah, it's definitely space for everybody, to connect, to build, and to be within that community.
So
Once
Indie
again,
Flea is a safe space, man.
yeah, always. I ain't putting nothing out if it ain't a safe space.
Yeah, got it.
And
Got
that's
it.
just how
All
that's how
right.
I
I
operate.
heard it's safe space, man. If you want to come pull up with your drip,
Yes, sir.
ain't nobody judging you. Just come throw your fit on, man, and I'll pull up, wear my jersey.
Yes, sir.
Y'all have a good time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's make it
Yeah.
happen.
So Indie Flea, man, and then dude, so you're also a part of Right Impact Group.
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you talk to me about that?
Yeah,
as
so
well?
right impact is just ultimately like the overseer of everything that we do from the standpoint of me and my father. So whether that's his financial literacy, his life insurance, or his social work, or the things that I do as far as content creation. It's a multitude of different things, or the clothing brand. It's a multitude of different things, but it's like the overseer. And ultimately, it's in in the title, right impact.
I was about to
The
ask.
plan is to impact as many people as we can.
Yeah.
Him being from a different generation, he can connect with people differently than I can connect, or we can connect with people the same way. Like you said, the one way that drawing us to you was because it was a father and son doing business. So if that's how we connect with you, then that's how we connect with you. But if it's a dude who came out of Covenant Christian or came out of Avon High School, he like, bro, you really like set a standard and I see everything that you doing, and he connect with me that way, then that's how we connect. Or if it's like, dude, you or bro, I was going through stuff with my father as well. And because y'all grounded y'all relationship, that's something that I want to look at and see if it's a way that me and my father can connect again. So it's ultimately just a different way to connect with people, but letting people know, hey, we here to impact you and to love you and to open up our arms to you so that we can impact you and allow you to impact other people as well.
Yeah, the name really hits, man. It's like, you know what I mean?
Appreciate you, bro.
How else do you explain it?
Yeah, I mean, there's no different way to explain it. I mean, that's just what it is.
Yeah, y'all hit it on the nail with that
Yeah.
name, bro. I
Appreciate
love
you,
it. I
bro.
love it, man. Right impact, man. You definitely made an impact in my life. You and your father, your whole family. I just literally shot your sister's wedding,
Yeah,
man.
shout out to them.
Man, shout out to the Wrights. And they
Yeah.
both got the same
Yeah.
last name, bro.
Once again, it was nothing but God ordained, bro. So yeah, can't argue with it.
Dude, I don't know how you do. If you don't believe, man, hey, keep watching this
Pray for
podcast.
him.
I help you out, dog. I'm
Pray
telling
for
you,
him.
man. We gonna pray for y'all, dog. But yeah, man. So we damn near covered everything, man. 2025, man. I know the year just started, man. And man, is there anything that you're doing anything differently than you did last year, man? Like learning wise or
I mean,
movement?
every year is just be more intentional, bro, and focus in on what it is that you're truly trying to do. And so for me, I learned from myself that everything that I was doing prior, it was almost in a sense of kind of building my ego, kind of being in control of how I moved and everything I did. But what I saw myself doing was constantly hitting my head, constantly falling, constantly like being kind of egotistical and feeding my things because all these things would make me feel good. And like I said, I was never like an impure person or a person, trying to chase wealth. Definitely, I want to be wealthy and be able to take care of my family for sure. But in a sense, it was like, well, if I'm rocking a nice watch or, I got on a fresh fit and people going to think this about me. But ultimately, that's the last thing, as in this space I am now, that's the last thing I want people to think about me is all, he can dress, he got style, he got money. Truth be told, I don't. But what I do got is love, man. What I do got is the heart of Christ, man.
Really?
What I do got is a heart and a soul that's open to being able to build with you, love you, and be there when you may be feeling down or you may feel as if you're going through life and it's whooping you. Life whooping me too, bro. But at the end of the day, we gotta continue to go through it. So that's what I'm doing now is being more intentional to not try to control my life, but more so, submit my will to God, submit my will to Christ, and then allow them to be in control and just follow through what it is that they need to follow through on. And then just preaching their word, man, and building their community, building their kingdoms. That's where I am now, man, and just trying to be humble with it and in love with it.
And that's I feel that a lot, man. And I think I just really want to point out to like you point out to you were fueling your ego and
Yeah.
dude. I mean, for someone you're 21 now, dude. Like that's all you should be doing. You know what I
You
mean?
would think, yeah.
You know what I mean? So for you to be at your and that's the thing, dude. That's why I love the young generation, bro. I'ma always like mess with the young, bro, because one, bro, y'all way more entrepreneur like. I ain't gonna act like I'm 26, bro.
Yeah.
We all young, you know what I mean? I be trying to act like I'm big unk or
I
something.
be forgetting you 26, bro.
Bro, yeah. So like, bro, nonetheless though, it's like I love the young generation because you guys are way more entrepreneur. Bro, when I was in high school, bro, I was probably the only one that's doing business.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I'm saying. None of my friends was doing none of that stuff. So like to see you guys are middle school and y'all business doing this content creation, bro. Like, dude, that's why I really like the most people that I connect with is younger people because they already like getting this bag, dude.
Yeah.
So like, but dude, I really just want to give you your flowers, bro, because at the end of the day, dude, I think it doesn't matter what you material, bro. It's about character, bro.
Yeah. That's all it is.
So for you to reflect and say, man, I kept bumping my head, and I'm like, bro, what's going on, man? Something ain't working, obviously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think, dude, that's one thing I realized about like the ones that make it the entrepreneurs, bro. Would you consider yourself stubborn or not?
Yeah, in a sense. I mean,
sense.
at times I was definitely stubborn. And there's a few ways of how, I always claim that I don't like driving, right? But dude, I gotta, and once again, this is not a flex. I'm not trying to throw this in nobody's face because if I'm gonna be honest with you, it's probably one of the smartest purchases at my age to make. But here I am, you learn, you live and you learn. But I drive so much, but I also claim I don't like driving.
Mm-hmm.
I got a 2023 Honda in May of 2023, right?
I remember.
So that's a year, we about a year and a half from there now, right? With now I have 31,000 miles on it.
What'd you start off with?
35. 30, just 00035 miles. So 35 miles. When I went to get it from the dealership in Bloomington, Indiana, I started off with 35 miles.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So I got this brand new car in 2023. Here it is, 2025. I have 31,000 miles on it.
Yeah, so yeah.
But here's the thing. This is when I knew I kept bumping my head. So the reason I got the car was because I got in a car crash. Rear ended a Tesla. Crazy work. Wasn't my fault, but legally in Indiana, if you rear end somebody, you already at fault. So here it is. That's that's just what it is. I ain't gonna argue. So that was my first crash.
Were you okay, man? Let me ask.
Yeah, I was good. Yeah.
All
I was good. So then I ended up getting a new car. So mind you, got the new car in May of 2023. September of 2023, we moved out to Brownsburg. Me, my mom, sister, my brother. Moved out to Brownsburg. Brownsburg is a developing town. It's not big, but it's also not small. So the street that I was driving down on, no street lights for real. You got a couple businesses. You got some businesses, so they got like parking lot lights, but no street lights for real. So it's dark, and I got Levi in the car with me. Once again, in a brand new car. So in October, I'm driving, no street lights, and 2 deer pop up. First one runs past. I'm like, all right, cool. I didn't see the second one. So finally, by the time I see it, the second one pumps fakes like it's about to run. Then it didn't run, and then it just took off. So then I hit that mug straight forward, and it messes up like my left side of my bumper and my light.
Mercury, right?
No, this was in the Honda.
The Honda.
So the Mercury was my first car that I rear.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And then I, got the Honda. So I'm like, all right, bro, I just got this car. So I took it to the impact collision place, the repair place. Tried to get a quote on it. Quote was out of my budget. So I'm like, all right, it was still drivable. I hated the look of it because once again, I'm in a brand new car and it's like, all right, it's already messed up. So I rode on it for a couple months. So then we into 2024, and this one I knew like I was really like something had to give. So I'm driving right in 2024, still got the messed up car, drivable, but it just looked funny. So I'm driving. I think I'm on like West 46. I'm over in like Pike Air by Vast and stuff. Yeah, in your neck of the woods.
Hey.
So I end up dropping Brendan off at his crib, and I'm driving. So the light is yellow. And I know for a fact, like that mug is yellow. It was either green or yellow, but I think it was yellow. So yellow, I still have the right of way, right? The car pulls out like they about to turn, but obviously, some cars sit there during that time. But then as I'm still going, because it's yellow, they start turning. And so as they start turning, I'm thinking they finna hit me. So I swerve, hit the curb, and bro, I messed the mug up. And then they end up they stopped trying to, show care, but then they end up pulling off. But mind you, I never really hit him. Like we never hit each other, so it was no reason for him to stop for real. So I'm like, ah, shoot, here we go again.
Stop
And so,
pump faking, man.
man, and so I'm like, you know what, cool, bro. But at this time, it's like the car was still drivable, but it wasn't drivable enough for me to fit my everyday needs. So, bro, I had to empty up all, like, basically all my investment accounts, like everything. I'm talking about crypto, stocks, and I probably shouldn't be saying this, but IRS know already. All these tags, whatever, they all know this anyways. So end up emptying all that and getting the car fixed. But I'm still like, bro, like, why does this keep happening to me? I don't think I'm a bad driver. Now, obviously, I'm not the best, but I don't think I'm bad enough driver for this stuff to keep happening. So I'm like, all right, what is God telling me? And so, I got it fixed and it still took some time. And then nothing ever happened to me again in a car. Well, actually, it was a few more, but like those ones wasn't as traumatic as or not traumatic, but as damaging as the other ones. So for me, it was like, all right, God, what are you trying to tell me? So then we get to my sister's wedding, and her uncle, who led the pastor or who led the ceremony and the wedding as the pastor, he starts talking about like humble yourself to God and stuff. And I remember Nike and Nick did the foot washing.
Mm-hmm.
And during this time of them doing the foot washing, he talking to like the groomsmen. I was a part of the groomsmen. Talking about like humble yourself, just really like getting into a long tangent, but it didn't feel like an actual wedding. Like in this time, it felt like a church service, but more of a what in biblical terms they call a revival. I'm like, I'm listening. I'm like, what are you saying? Like, I felt like so close on that last car crash, like I was really this close to death. And it's crazy because not to like exaggerate it or try to make it more than it was, but at at that moment, my life really could have been over. And because of how I lived so long, I couldn't tell you if I truly would have been happy with everything I've done prior to that. Because at all of that time of me thinking, everything that I did was because of my own will, and I'm trying to control everything that I've done. I didn't do it for, and mind you, I care about people. I have a heart for people. Even when I was controlling like all that stuff, I still had a pure heart, but I didn't humble myself to God to even allow Him to be in control and allow Him to say, this was right, son, this was wrong. Everything was always with feeding Jason's ego, me lifting weights, me doing the clothing, me doing the podcast. And once again, all this stuff had pure intentions, but it was only for the betterment of me. Sometimes betterment of people. I would love to see people smile. I love people to tell me, yo, Jason, like you impact me. You are a great person. I love to hear those things, but it all would fulfill me and be like, yeah, Jason, you the one. Like you the one. And and it finally took that wedding in those moments for me to sit back and be like, dang, like, are you truly happy with where you are now? Because ultimately, all you keep doing is bumping your head. You keep trying to be in control, and ain't nothing really came from it. You done had a few business ideas, a few events you tried, and a few things you tried differently, but they all end up in the same place. So it's like at this point, what are we doing? And so I like at the wedding when he was saying that, it was like, bro, I haven't submitted myself to God. I haven't humbled my will to God. And I really had to sit back and be like, yeah, bro, this you are where you are right now because of your lack of submission, your lack of humbleness. So I was like, you know what? I'm done. Wipe my hands clean, bro. And at this point, that's ultimately where I'm at now, bro. Is just living every day for God's glory and not my own. So that's what it is.
Dude, dude, I'm grateful you're still here, man. I don't like hearing
Appreciate you, bro.
anything like that,
No.
man. I mean, dude, yeah, it's tough, man. I
Yeah.
I want to go with man. So how is your mental health then with, you just saying all
Yeah.
that
I
like
mean, right now I'm in a great space, bro. I mean, it was obviously in that moment, it's like, oh shoot, like, adrenaline rushing and so many things. Like first, like I was worried about the car because once again, it's a brand new car and obviously I don't have the money to keep like hitting stuff, getting it repaired. Like I ain't, like I said, I'm not a tree of money, a tree of cash. So um that was my first thought. But then the next day I went to church and pastor starts talking like, you really like if you was like what I got from it was like, do you really know God? And I'm sitting, I'm thinking like, yeah, I know God, man. I've been in church my whole life. I once again, I never like have an ill will bone. I never try to do stuff like to hurt people, to scam people, to do it for like to make people worse. So yeah, I know God. But at the end of the day, that I really know God because all I was doing was just feeling my own ego. And so it definitely like, you know, took me some time to really figure out what it was that those things and those stories were saying in my life. But I mean, mentally, I'm straight. You know, I ain't complaining. I'm not in a spot where it's like, oh shoot, like, nah, I'm cool. And I was cool after. Like, it affected me, but it didn't affect me too much to be like, all right, I can't do this. Like, I ain't. And once again, I don't want to quit. I don't like quitting at things. So ultimately, it's I have to find the root of the problem and what it is that got me thus far to, you know, and figure out why it is the way it is and solve it. So that's ultimately where I'm at now.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate you for
Yes, sir.
sharing that with me. Because I think mental health is, man, something
For
that
sure,
just
definitely.
uh underappreciated in our community.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, I know you're a strong dude, bro.
Appreciate you,
Like,
bro.
so I know you gonna, you know what I'm saying? And ain't nothing, you know what I'm
Gotta
saying?
muscle through it, man.
Come on, bro. I know you built different.
Yeah.
So either way, man, because you know, the toughest ones, we gonna go through some stuff,
Yeah.
bro.
And I'm ultimately that's why we're here, just to go through it and essentially not impact just us, but those around us.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what
I
it
know
is.
that's right.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, I
We
thought it cut
talking.
out too.
Yeah, I'm like, dog. Hey, man, we live here, dog. Yeah. Man, yeah, man. So, dude, I want to thank you, bro, for, like I said, your obedience, man. Hey, possibly hitting them with the
Boy,
gems,
don't
man.
he? Don't he?
So, man, your obedience is tied to someone else's destiny. I do appreciate you for being obedient because you've helped me out. Like I said, dude, as soon as I start, because you were telling me, you was like, hey, Bass, you need to push this content, push this content.
Got
You
to,
was
bro.
heavily pushing me, and I'm like, because to me, bro, when you were telling me this stuff, I'm like, nah, bro, I gotta sit behind this camera. I need to know how this camera work.
Uh,
You know what I mean? I need to know how to talk to people. You know what I mean? Because
yeah,
they
I mean you
watching.
do, but at the same time, the best thing about content, bro, is allowing people to grow with you.
I like that. Yeah,
That's just
I
what it
agree.
is. Don't matter what you post, you know, don't matter if you post just camera stuff, just podcasts, just fitness. It don't matter if you post and one day you lighting a candle and the next day you reading the Bible, the next day you playing 2K, the next day you you drinking a glass of water. If you post all those things, one of those videos gonna blow up because you just and I'm not an algorithm king or a guy who knows everything about the algorithm. All I know is what has worked for me. I
Yeah.
got a couple videos that hit over 10K views. To me, I don't know 10K people. So if you telling me 10K people didn't seen my video, I'm cool with that. I ain't mad at it. So let's make it happen. So ultimately, you you just gotta post. And whatever happens, happens. The more you post, the more you get in the algorithm, and the more likely you are to either get closer to your goal or whatever that is, or just to be able to impact as many people as you want to impact. So yeah, just post content.
Hey
Content is king
man,
right now.
he was telling me, and I'm like, yeah, dude. So I was like, dude. So, dude, I just want to thank you, man. Thank you for just being obedient,
Yes, sir.
right? You know, you done. I appreciate you for inviting me into your home.
So, bro,
Man, that's the beautiful thing about entrepreneurship, man. I'm talking about the relationships you build, bro.
like, man,
You ever like worked at a job and like you probably went to your coworker job and like met their mama and maybe sometimes, but like how often? You know, is it
yeah, it's
like
not,
this?
yeah, not very often.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, dude, that's one thing I've seen with entrepreneurship is like, dude, you're gonna meet everybody's mama, their
yeah,
sister, something. You know what I mean? So, like, and it's a beautiful thing. Like, you actually know the people that you making money with, and it's like it's nothing but love, bro.
nothing but
Because we
love,
all want the same thing. We
literally,
all do, bro.
literally.
I don't know how else to put it, bro. We got the same hands, legs, walking. Anyway, point is, man, I appreciate you for being obedient.
Oh,
Welcome into your home. This is the first episode of Fresh P
yes,
Podcast.
sir.
I'm your host, Baserou Moussa. This is my guy, Jahsan Wright.
Sir.
Man, any words for the people?
Man, just keep being you, man. Whatever you do in life, just learn. Take accountability. Just go from there.
Go
All I
from
got
there.
for y'all.
All right. 2025, man. This is Fresh P Podcast, episode 1. We are out.